At this time, we should now make our hearts and mind prepared for our guest speaker on this morning. We thank God for him being here. At this time, we're going to ask that our Sister Louise Horton, will she come and introduce our speaker? And after the introduction, we will give honor and grace to our speaker for the hour.
Amen.
Good morning. Good morning. Pastor Collins, Minister Nichols, and the entire church family. I stand before you to introduce our guest speaker. Dekeither Stamps is an Iraq War veteran, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, farmer, father, and your award for counseling. He is the proud father of 3 daughters, Jasmine, Christian, and Kennedy. Born on November the 21st, Mr. Stamps grew up in the tight-knit Cedar Hills community and on his family's farm in Lerne, Mississippi. After graduating high school, he had to answer a calling, and that calling was to join the military. During the next 3 years, Mr. Stamps traveled around the world as a presidential security guard to almost every state in the Union and 18 countries overseas with former President of the United States, Bill Clinton. Councilman Stamps brings proven leadership, experience, and a strong work ethic to the Jackson City Council. Under his leadership as council president, the council passed several ordinances which are designed to bring a better quality of life to the city of Jackson. His passion for education, economic development, and community revitalization continues to form the foundation of his work in Ward 4 and beyond. Most recently, his dedication towards improving education led him to develop Books in the Barbershop, a community-oriented initiative that strives to improve the literacy skills of our youth. Councilman Stamps joins civic leaders, educational organizations, local owners, and other elected officials in an effort to increase male engagement and to encourage our young male to read by providing local barbershops with books for accessible and convenient reading. Extending his entrepreneurial spirit, Councilman Stamps remains active on his family farm and hosts the highly anticipated Agritourism Day. Each year, hundreds of enthusiastic students from local elementary schools participate in a day of education and fun while learning about agriculture and technology. Councilman Stamps will continue to be an advocate of the people and fight for equality in education for the citizens across Ward 4, the city of Jackson, and our great state. I present to all of you all, Councilman Dekeither Stamps.
Amen. Give her a hand. Amen. Well, I'm back, St. Matthew.
Amen. Glad to have you back.
I'm going to start off by giving honor to God for allowing us the strength and the ability to get here today and look so beautiful. Also to the pastor.
Bless you, sir.
You're growing, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
That's right. That's right. That's why we're here. It's to move forward.
That's right.
And prosper. I love coming to St. Matthew because it's a wonderful place. Pastor puts everybody to work. Everybody got something to do. God gave a gift to everybody, and everybody's gift going to be allowed to flourish. I love it when I see the young men standing up. That's about 14 of them that won't be joining games.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? Amen. Definitely before I get started, I want to say I appreciate my wife and daughter. Stand up, baby. For coming on in. My wife, Shonda, and my daughter, Jasmine. You know, Pastor, today is a good day.
It is.
We're celebrating Black History Month.
Yes, sir.
And there won't be a black future unless we start focusing on black history and black now.
That's right.
There's some things that we have to do. I was here 2 years ago. Anybody remember what we talked about? Nobody remember? I gave you handouts. We talked about the 12 things. Oh, she brought her handout with her. That's what I'm talking about. The 12 things that black folks must do right now. That was a speech by Miss Nannie Helen Burroughs in 1910 where she talked her all over the world about black folks need to get educated and own their own houses and teach character development and own your own businesses and do for yourself and all those kinds of things. And that message still rings true today.
Yes, sir.
Now we're here in 2018. Normally we spend Black History Month reflecting. But I see here it says, remembering the past, living the present, and expecting a better tomorrow in the Lord. And that's important because we got to start envisioning our future.
That's right.
Right? And putting those disciplines in place. We have to do that. When she was reading that biography, I thought for a second, and I said, and she was like, the books in the barbershop program, I thought she was going to bring up decriminalizing marijuana. But we got to start rewriting the rules and do things differently.
That's right.
Thinking about how we can do things differently, but don't compromise our principles and our values, but how can we do things differently in the future? Because inside your car is the reason why the rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield. A lot of times we spend a whole lot of time looking back and not enough time looking forward.
That's right.
Black History Month is just a little bit of time for looking back. But we must spend the majority of our time cleaning off the windshield, determining what direction we're going in forward, and developing ourselves for that future. Anybody see the movie Black Panther? Nobody seen it yet? My daughter saw it. I haven't seen it yet. But that was, what I saw from the commercials and all of the advertisement, that's a black excellence situation when you got black folks in charge of everything.
Yes, sir.
And the sisters run the army. I said, my gosh. But how do you get that black excellence? Because we can't just watch black excellence.
That's right.
We can't just remember black excellence.
Yeah,
we have to create black excellence. All right. And that brings us back to the church. There would never have been a black history, nor will there ever be a black future without the black church.
That's right.
It won't happen. All right. The things that we do in church are important.
That's right.
Church teaches us discipline, structure, order. It teaches you how to be a man. Taught me how to be a man.
Doc.
Yeah, I had every job in the church almost. I was the janitor, the groundskeeper, usher, Sunday school teacher, choir member, videographer. And today I'm just the groundskeeper, the videographer, and I clean up every now and then. And I'm a trustee. But that's what we do here at this church, is we teach people not just for here. Those skills transcend this time.
That's right.
These brothers that line these walls are going to be keepers of our society one day. See, I grew up in a church similar to this one. Our rules may be a little bit different because times have changed. I was a junior usher standing at the back door. My job was to slap folks in the back of the head when they go to sleep. In today's society, we don't do that anymore. We don't love like that. Wake your butt up. But ushering is important because it teaches you structure, maintain the balance of society. I grew up to become a police officer in the military, right? So the skills aren't just about here. Sunday school teachers become the best school teachers.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Folks that sing in the choir become singers and entertainers and all kinds of things. So if we're going to have black excellence, we have to keep structure in our church.
That's right.
Order in our church.
That's right.
Discipline in our church. When I say it taught me how to be a man, when a man stands up in a suit and looks something like himself, like he's supposed to look, what did he learn in the beginning? I learned it in church. So when I see the young brothers in their suits and ties and they're standing up here, that's what we need in our future. And our sisters standing there in elegance and grace, learning how to be a lady. This is important because if we're ever going to have a black future with excellence, because there will be a black future,
that's right.
We'll just be determining if that future has any excellence attached to it. And that's why I'm here to encourage you to lean forward a little bit more. Because there will not be any black excellence without the black church. Not becoming what they are, but becoming better at who we are. We're not to conform now. I'm not a preacher now. But somewhere in there it says don't conform.
That's right.
Right? Because the rest of the world going to come and go. But they always going to remember what they learned in church if they came through this process. This is not about having a service. This is creating a process that folks can remember for the rest of their lives. So when you go somewhere else, and my daughter, I told my daughter I didn't want any of them to join the military. 9, my first 2 out the gate. We got one in the Navy and one going to the Air Force. And I don't know, in these Trump days, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to keep them prayed up. We're going to keep them prayed up. But it takes the comfort of knowing that you brought your child up in a church to know that wherever they go and whatever they do, they got something in them, something deep inside of them that the rest of the world can't take away. You can't get this from TV church. You can't get this from online church. They got to be a part of this process.
That's right.
Right? This is why some folks say, well, it's raining outside. I'm just gonna just watch it from TV. No. TV church don't work.
Don't work, no.
It can augment later on in the evening where you got a chance, you got a decision between watching a reality show or TV church. But Sunday morning, you got to get the real thing.
That's right.
The real thing is the experience, the process. I grew up in, before I was getting ready to go to church, when I was young, I used to have to help my great-grandfather get dressed. He was 94 years old, and the arthritis had kicked up in his hands, and I had to get the buttons together on his shirt and tie his tie up because he wanted to look like something when he came to church. He wanted to represent something by going to church. But me as a young man, that taught me a little something. That I want to look like something too.
That's right.
I want to stand up and be respected amongst men too. That's what this process is about. When I saw my grandmother getting prepared for church and she'd be getting herself together, she have stockings and slips and all kinds of stuff. She's trying to get all situated and get in order because she wasn't putting a jogging suit on going walking. She's going to church. So that's why you have to do the things that you know are important.
That's right.
To make this place that we have called church something special. Because it's more than just the pews and the seats, take up an offering and read the book, sing a song and walk out. It's a process that develops and encourages us to be better. Because the excellence that we produce in church, we start to duplicate it a little bit on Monday, and a little bit on Tuesday, and a little bit on Wednesday. When the world wears us down, we get back here on Sunday, get back recharged. That's what this is about. This is about having a process in your life that can replenish you. You can fellowship. You can stay encouraged.
That's right.
And then you can go out into the world and spread that same discipline. It's just not about you memorizing the words in the book. It's about you seeing yourself and putting a light out there that shows something different to the world. That's the difference in church, folks.
That's right.
We shouldn't be known for gossiping and just talking about folks. We should be known for being about stuff. Because if we don't, think about what the world will be like in 20 years. If all everybody can do is Snapchat, post, and tweet. What would it look like? If all they can do is communicate with the thumbs. They can't talk to each other. Can't love each other. You want to know why all this violence is taking place? Because it's not in them. They grew up on TV church. If you grew up on TV church, how in the world are you going to learn how to even get out your pajamas? Come on. Much less look like something when you leave the house. So, like I said, TV church is okay, but remember that this process is important. It's more important than anything you do throughout the week. Because we need you. Because me as an elected official, I'm not a preacher, but I'm trying to deal with us. And I need for our people to go through a process that's going to lean them back towards right a little bit. Lean them back towards right. So when I'm talking to that young man on the street, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? He don't have any church in it. Amen. A lot of situations, our children are not just unfathered, they're unmothered too. Right? We need the church to loop our arms around folks because, a few years ago, if you didn't have a mama or a daddy, at least you can come to church. At least you can come somewhere and get some love and structure and discipline about yourself that you can carry forward. You want to stop the violence? Let's go knock on all the doors within 6 blocks of this church about once a quarter. You want to stop the littering and loitering and the unsavory activity? There was a day when even the wino, when he walking down the street, would stand up a little straighter when he walking by the church. You remember that? Because it was something in him. And we can't stop putting that in ourselves and in our children. Because there will be no black excellence. You can't point to a piece of black excellence that didn't come through this process. So I just came here to just share with you for a minute that this process is important. The scientists call it behavior modification. Right? Yeah. These we got 800 churches in the city of Jackson. Oh, wow. 800. And I'm glad to know at least one of them is focused on what needs to happen. I'm glad that one of them is indeed truly in tune to its structure and history. Because sometimes folks say, that stuff is old time and they don't do that no more, all that moaning and groaning in church. No, that activates the chakras inside you when you hem and hum like that. So that when you get down to the moment, right? My favorite part of church is devotion. That's absolutely, if I miss devotion, my wife would tell you, I'm hot. I'm not right. Because that's that moment in my week, in the whole week where I can just kind of get myself together. Everybody got a piece of church that they miss and they need. Don't let them miss it. Because it's important for us to move forward. So, as you envision the future and work towards creating it, because we can't just watch it on TV. We can't just watch it in the movies. We have to make it happen. We have to do it. We have to put our hand on the plow. So no matter if you're singing like this sister over here, standing up like the brothers back there and the sisters back there, or the videographer, your job is important because you're touching people in a deeper way than anybody else in the whole week, in their whole life. A lot of folks don't get touched until they come to church, even at home. So let's take our job seriously in church. Let's listen and act how we know we're supposed to act. Because I grew up being a little knucklehead in the back of the church until one day somebody told me, well, stand up there and usher. And then I started, when they said sit down, the preacher started preaching, I started going to sleep. So my great-grandfather said, no, you're going to sit right there. Right? And young folks, I know it annoys you sometimes, but deep down in their heart, they know you love them. So when you tell them to put the phone down, when you tell them to put the pad down, pay attention, they might annoy it, but it's okay. They'll be out there. They can't go nowhere. Yeah. They don't have a car. What are they going to do, walk away? For this moment right now, this is the process. They can watch a basketball game for 2 hours without doing nothing. They can watch the Super Bowl glued to the screen. Right? They watch cartoons, put on Netflix and see what happens. SpongeBob and all that, right? They can sit in class not eating gum, not eating candy. They sit there for 50 minutes at a time until it's time to go. Well, they can sit in church too. So I just came by today just to say thank you for continuing to be the church, but also holding on to the process, holding on to the things that you know is right. It built you, so it can build them too. That's right. We're not trying to build something else. We're trying to build something more of what we already have. So, Pastor, Thanks for letting me come back and say a few words today. I appreciate you. But when I see Pastor, I see it in all of y'all. The order, the structure, that's important. Everybody got a job. In here and out there. So on behalf of all the 37,214 folks in Ward 4, I love you. Bless you. God bless and Godspeed, Pastor. God bless
you. Amen. I want to thank Councilman Stamps for giving us a great insight on today. Thank him, thank his lovely family with being with us today. Challenge your mind to take heed to the words that he brought to us today. Let it saturate your heart so it may bring insight to your life. One of the things we got to remember, the Apostle Paul says, be not conformed to this old world. But he says be transformed. Transform means be changed. But what he says is he does not necessarily deals with your behavior. He says your change need to happen in your thinking. So our challenge as we are expecting a better day, we need to recalibrate our thinking. We need to recalibrate on how we want our lives to be in the future. If you want your little black boy, your little black girl to be successful in life, you need to recalibrate your thinking. If you want them not to end up in jail, you need to recalibrate your thinking. Remember what we said last week. We have gotten far from where we have come from. We have forgot about it was the Lord that brought us a long way. We forgot about that it was God's grace and his mercy that brought us out of the cotton field. It was not that we were so good. No, it was because he was good. But we have gotten away from that. And now we complain. We'll blow up the governor's office. We'll blow up your phone about what can we do about crime? What can we do about them breaking in my house? What can we do about them breaking in the corner store? Well, our solution has always been in Jesus. If we can recalibrate our thinking and pull ourselves back to God, then we'll be able to pull our children back to God. You can't talk trying to drive a child to God if you're not there. Come on, somebody. Stop trying to, you know how we always say, do as I say and not as I do? Your message fall on deaf ears when you telling someone else not to do something and they see you doing the very thing that you telling them not to do. If you want to recalibrate your thinking, the Bible says charity starts at home. In other words, it starts with you. And if it starts with you, then it spreads abroad to your family and to your household. So if we want to take our community back, it first starts with us. It first starts with you. It first starts at your home. If we want the church to be better, it first starts with you. It first starts at home. Then all of a sudden, by the word of God, then it empowers as it spread out. And God has made us in this season to be powerful. God made us kings and queens. And we have gotten away from that thought. But you need to look yourself in your mirror and tell yourself that you are somebody in Jesus. You ought to be able to speak life into the child and let them know that they are somebody in Jesus. Even though they may not have gotten here the way they should have gotten here, but it don't matter. They are still somebody in Jesus. And I want somebody to hear real clear. If they don't hear it at home, if they don't hear it at school, if they don't hear it from their friends on the corner, at least they ought to be able to hear it on Sunday morning when they come into the house of God. Let us now speak life into our children. And not only to our children, let's speak life into individuals. Because God has set us up to be like a city that sits upon a hill. He has empowered us to let our light so shine that those who do not know him might be saved. Amen.